This is my favorite part of Catalyst. They let me start and they let me end, and I appreciate that. I don't know how many more years that will go on, but let me tell you what we do. If you've been to Catalyst before, you know how we like to close. I just like to drill down and talk about church leadership. This is not going to be inspirational. We have been thoroughly inspired over the last 2 days, and I'm not going to try to say anything interesting, unique, or deep, because I'm rarely interesting, unique, and I'm certainly not deep. But I love the local church like you do. And here's what I think about your church. I think that your church and your church culture should be the healthiest organizational culture in your city. I think that businesses and business people should come to your church and would be able to drop into your church during the week and see how you run your organization and knock on your door and say, wow, I have never seen a better run organization anywhere I've traveled. I think that people in the marketplace should be able to come to our door and say, wow, would you come to my business, to my small business, to my medium-sized business, and would you help me figure out how to create in my business the same healthy culture you have in your organization? And I'm not talking about Sunday. I'm talking about the Monday through Thursday and the Monday through Friday part of your organization. Now think about this. The local church culture, not Sunday, the work culture, the job part, the Monday through Saturday part. The local church has a huge, huge advantage over the marketplace. Theoretically, everybody in our organization is a Christian. Number two, everybody in our organization shares the same values as outlined in Scripture. Number three, everybody in our organization should be crystal clear about what we're doing and why we're doing it, because we have the Great Commission, right? And we have the Great Commandment, love one another. So there should never be any ambiguity about what we're doing and why we're doing it. Now, those are the things that cause chaos in most organizational cultures. What are we doing here? Why are we doing it? We don't have shared values. Some people are in this religion and that religion. But in the local church, we have so much going for us organizationally, culturally. We should have the healthiest organization and the healthiest culture of any organization in the world. People should line up at the doors of the local church and say, come to our organization and teach us how to create this kind of work ethic. I mean, we even have a verse that says, do your work as unto the Lord. I mean, we have a direct command related to that. And yet you know as I know that sometimes church cultures are the most unhealthy cultures imaginable. Some of the meanest people I've ever met worked at a church. Wow. Perhaps it sounds like they work at yours too. Some of the laziest people I've ever met were on church staffs, right? Some of the most incompetent people I've ever met were on church staffs. Now, let me tell you how bad it is. And this just really bothers me. And this has only happened 2 or 3 times, but I just had to bite my tongue. I've had people call me, and you've experienced this, and they said something like this, hey, Andy, listen, I have a friend, and she's had a tough time, and she's not able to hold down a job, and she doesn't really have any skills, and she's uneducated. Do you have something for her at the church she could do? The assumption being, it doesn't take much in the area of skill or competency to work at a church. And why would people think that? Because they've been around church staffs where they met some lazy people, some incompetent people, and some people that they would never hire in their organization. And what a shame. Because we have shared values. We have a clear mission. We have an outstanding vision. We have an eternal perspective. Your local church culture, the people that work in your church and volunteer in church, it should be the healthiest culture on any piece of real estate in your city. I'm convinced of that. And your system should be excellent. And your product and your output should be excellent. And you know what? And I know I'm preaching to the choir, because if you come to Catalyst Conference, you're all about that. So for the next few minutes, I want to talk about one element of creating an extraordinary culture. And I think, and I could be wrong, this is just my opinion, I think this is at the heart of what it takes to create a healthy staff culture. I think if you get this right, everything else can be figured out. But if you get this wrong, you'll never, ever, ever make much progress when it comes to creating healthy culture. Now, I've talked to pastors, and maybe you're a lead pastor who falls in this category. I've talked to lead pastors saying, Andy, we don't have time for that. Here comes Sunday, here comes Sunday, here comes Sunday. That's a nice to have. And I would say to you, as we're going to say in just a few minutes, if you want to attract great people to your staff, then this must become a priority, because here's what I know with 14 years of experience. If you get this right, you will attract healthy, competent, get it done people. If you miss this, you will run them off, because healthy people are attracted to healthy cultures. Healthy people don't stay in unhealthy cultures. Unhealthy people thrive in unhealthy cultures. It's what they're most comfortable with. And I'm all for having a ministry. I try very hard not to hire a ministry. The corollary to that is have a ministry, don't marry a ministry. And if that sounds harsh, just wait till you have a teenage daughter who's about 16 and she brings some guy home that you think, he'd be great.